I'm sitting here with Vance Joy. Hi.
Hey.
So the last time that we saw each other and spoke was at Acoustic Christmas, and that was your first KROQ show.
Yes.
Was today different?
Today was different. I mean, there was a revolving stage again. So
yeah,
that was,
isn't that cool?
That was nice and familiar. And we're outside this time. It's also an amazing lineup, so that's another consistency. Unfortunately, we got to head out. Like, we're flying overnight, so I don't get to stay. Last time I stayed for the whole event, and it was like...
you don't get to stay for Muse?
Yeah, I have to miss out, and I have to miss out on Florence as well, which I'm a bit disappointed about, but it's been a fun day.
The life of a rock star, I tell you. So I have to congratulate you. You now have made Australian chart history.
Yes.
So his song, you guys, Riptide, has now been on the top 100 charts for 107 consecutive weeks, which is huge. You beat out Lady Gaga's Poker Face, by the way. Was that like an astounding thing to find out? Could you have ever imagined when you were writing that song that would happen?
No, I mean, that's a crazy thing. And yeah, I feel like it's nice to think that it had longevity, because I guess when you make something, you want it to be made out of solid material and you want it to last. And so I guess that's a sign that it has lasted. So it's a great thing.
I know that when you played football, you got the first year player award. So you've always been a hard worker and you've always known success. Was music the path that you decided you had to go down? Did you ever stop and say, no, it's just a hobby, I'll just go back to either law or football?
I think those two options weren't really viable.
They're not as fun.
They're not as fun.
No.
Football can be fun, but it's also kind of, I think my attitude towards music is, I guess, when I see football players who do it and are passionate and love it, I feel the same way about music. Like when I see them, they're excited to play, they live for it. It's like their dream job, and I guess my dream job is music, and it doesn't feel like a job, you know. It just feels like, oh, this is my life, and this is like this thing that I get to do, and it's like you're building something special. So like you're building a career. It's what you hope to be doing, so it's cool.
You're doing it very well. And with Riptide, you also injected Michelle Pfeiffer back into pop culture, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I know you're a film buff, correct?
I try and watch a lot, yeah.
So give me some 3 favorite movies that you have. I think I know a couple.
Okay, well, one of them I think I like, which just came to my head then, was No Country for Old Men. I like that a lot. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer movies, I like the film The Fabulous Baker Boys.
Do you like Scarface, Michelle Pfeiffer?
Okay, I do.
I mean, she was one of the most, and still is one of the most stunning women I've ever seen, ever. Can you imagine if she called you and she's like, thank you for your song, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I would just be like, that'd be amazing. I think, I agree with you. She's like...
stunning.
I think, when I was thinking, what is the embodiment of the most beautiful woman?
Her face popped up?
Her face just came in, yeah.
So I know you like The Matrix as well?
I do, yes.
And 10 Things I Hate About You?
That's a great one, yeah.
Which you kind of look like a young Heath Ledger in that movie because he had the dark hair.
That's very flattering. I don't know about that. He's the absolute heartthrob.
Now let's talk about, you just did American Idol.
Yes.
Do you watch the show? Are you a fan?
I mean, I haven't watched it for a long time. I'm a fan in spirit, especially now.
You like the concept of the show?
I mean, I think I watched it when I was growing up, and a lot of in Australia as well. Like a lot of the artists who did it actually went on and had alternative careers, because they got kind of known, like they were in the top 10 or something, and then they weren't that number one that went and had a pop career. So a lot of them went, and I guess they were like, okay, well, there's not necessarily I'm not walking into a career, but they were talented. They sang and they wrote songs, and a lot of them kind of came into the industry a couple of years later. And they've really great artists that are you wouldn't even think, oh, whoa, they were on a pop show about talent. They're legit.
Totally.
Yeah.
You played these our lineups with all kinds of bands, and now this summer you're going on tour with Miss Taylor Swift. Do you get intimidated by different audiences that aren't necessarily your own, or do you go out there and you're like, I got this? Is it nerve-wracking at all?
Sometimes it's nerve-wracking.
She's only the biggest, pop star in the entire universe.
Yeah,
ever.
I know. I guess at the moment I'm kind of been busy the last couple of days. I think the more time I have to myself, the longer the shower, the more time I have to think about, to get nervous. But I think her crowd's, judging by
they're gonna love you. Oh no, they're all girls.
Welcoming.
They're gonna love you. The mothers, the girls, they're all gonna love you. I mean, you've got that smile. Okay, last question. What's the biggest difference between Australian culture and American culture?
I think Australians, I think at first are probably a bit quieter. We can be pretty loud when we're drinking.
But we're super loud.
Yeah, I feel like but in a good way. And I think Americans have a really nice way of like, I don't know, like letting their personality shine, and kind of everyone is kind of doing something. I don't know. I feel like if you're in America and you're an American and they give you like they bring coffee that's cold, it's like, hey, this is not good enough. In Australia, we're like, oh yeah, sorry.
It's all cool. It's all cool. What do you have a favorite spot in California, in LA, like a place to eat, a place to go drink?
I went to the Roosevelt in LA, and I went there on a Wednesday night and went bowling after
upstairs.
Idol.
Yeah, it's
that was
super
really
fun. Yeah.
And I want to do more of that. I want to discover, because I feel like the most of the time that I spend away from Australia is going to be based in LA, so I got to get to know myself.
There's so many cool spots. You got to check out a cemetery movie. In the summer, they screen movies at the cemetery, Hollywood Forever. Okay, so put that on your list. Continued success to you. Thank you so much. You're officially part of the KROQ family.
Thank you.
You guys, please give it up for Vance Joy.
Thank you.